welcome to Elevating Your Life, another elevating time for all of us. I'm so thrilled to have you joining us today. I have just an amazing guest to share with you. We have with us today CJ Llewelyn, MED, LPC. She is a licensed professional counselor, trauma therapist, and intuitive Reiki master in the lineage of Dr. Mikao Yasui. Her passion is combining the psychological, physical, and spiritual to heal trauma and facilitate personal and spiritual growth to her clients. Her work utilizes polyvagal theory, energy psychology, and a knowledge of the chakras and subtle energies. CJ is trained in internal family systems, EMDR, and brain spotting, and she is certified through the Polyvagal Institute. She has a master's degree in marriage and family therapy and leads workshops for therapists on the process of intuitive presence through the chakras and the vagus nerve. She is the author of this fantastic book, Chakras, the Vagus Nerve, and Your Soul. Oh, welcome, CJ, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. We were enjoying ourselves with our conversation offline and can't wait to continue it now.
Yes, I love it. I'm excited. Well, first off, if you want to share any more background, feel free. And then, I'm really excited to have you, something I've always been fascinated with, the vagus nerve. I'm excited to learn more about that. It's so amazing.
Well, I realize as I'm listening to my bio, there's a lot of letters in there. But mostly, my training has been, I've walked two worlds most of my life. Have the clinical aspects of a therapist and a trauma therapist. And I've been doing that for over 15 years. And then I have always worked with and seen and understood energies as well. So, within my work, it integrated into me as I was working with my clients. And then polyvagal theory came along. And if anybody has not heard of polyvagal theory, what it has done is really transformed my world with helping clients clear trauma from their system. And the premise of polyvagal theory, developed by Dr. Stephen Porges, is that our vagus nerve, which is our largest autonomic nerve in our system, in our bodies, and it's naturally automatically, right? Autonomic is automatic, automatically beating our heart, automatically digesting our food, automatically doing all the things, helping our lungs breathe while we can just go about our lives. But what has also kind of developed through this is through Porges's work is that the vagus nerve is our safety signal. It's our connection signal. It is our wiring that gauges from the outside world. Are we safe? Are we not safe? Are these people to connect to? And this is what's helped us developmentally through millions of years stay safe around our villages, our tribes, around those that we can connect to in safety. And of course, that's been playing itself out for years in trauma work, where people's neurobiology shows up in the room, but it shows up looking like emotion. And if it's an overreactive state or an underreactive state, what generally has been, sometimes people are diagnosed with certain, I'm trying not to get too clinical here. Some people have been diagnosed with aspects of themselves that have been too overly stimulated, too emotional, too detached. But really what's happening is their nervous system is carrying all this information that they have absorbed through years, right? If we've had traumas since childhood, our nervous system is literally reading the room. It is gauging whether or not we are safe. So when we get into working through the hard stuff, our nervous system is going to present as if it is still in the past. And if in the past was not safe, in these moments of safety, that nervous system might be reading miscues of a lack of safety. So it's changed the world. We are our nervous systems, and that's okay. There's so much information if we can just hold space for it to listen to. And also, the information is about healing the past as well.
And so we are holding in our nervous system things from the past, and it's just
So,
built up.
oh, yes. Well, so, we sort of look at it as our information superhighway. So we absorb information. We've been doing it since before we were born, before our brain came online to really develop what we call memory. Memory as in dates, times, places, beginning, middle, and end, what we call explicit memory. Our nervous system has been staying attuned to its environment this whole time. It still is. You and I were laughing earlier. We were talking before we started recording, and we were laughing and joking, and as a result, did you feel safe? Did you feel comfortable when we were
Yes.
talking?
Yes.
Right. And so we were establishing connection through one of the three branches of the vagus nerve that helps you discern safety was going on for you.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I know, it's so cool. And I try not to throw it all out at once because I don't want anybody to get overwhelmed. It's really simple if you break it down into our vagus nerve is reading the room, right? It is discerning. Are we safe? Can we connect? And so we have three branches of this large, massive wandering nerve that comes out of our cranial nerve, cranial 10, which is right up here in the bottom of our skull, and the medulla oblongata. It traipses through our whole body. In the old days, they didn't know what it was doing. That's why they called it vagus. Vagus is Latin for wandering. But there are basically three branches. There is a mobility branch, an immobility branch, and then a connection safety branch. Immobility branch, that gets into sort of that's a parasympathetic. I don't want to get too much into sympathetic, parasympathetic. Sympathetic engages us into action. That's the mobility branch. But we have two parasympathetic branches that will either shut us down or help connect us through safety. And so there's times when you're thinking, I don't know what happened. Why didn't I run when this scary thing happened? Or why did I run? Or why did I haul off and throw that thing at that person? Sometimes when our nervous system is perceiving something in the room, we are acting from that, even though our brain, our awareness, our consciousness, our mind is saying, no, we're not really safe. But this nervous system is holding the data sets, holding the information that is saying, nope, we remember this. This is what we do. So some of it, that's the crux of trauma processing, is helping people reset that information, restore a nervous system that has more balance to it. But other than that, we can mostly just hold the space and discern and be attuned to what's going on in our nervous system, in our vagus nerve. From moment to moment, it's constantly fluctuating. I always say it's like, to me, the vagus nerve, I feel like, when you have this lovely strands of seaweed just kind of floating in the ocean,
Yeah.
discerning, moving with the flow of the ocean. I feel like that's what our vagus nerve might look like in action. Just listening, just feeling activated at spots, feeling calm at others.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Always kind of envisioned life. We're just going down this beautiful, warm, flowing river, but because of life challenges. Oh, there's sticks in the water. There's rocks that you hit,
What would your body normally do? I don't,
Yeah.
you were talking initially and swaying back and forth, which, by the way, is a lovely self-soothing motion. The rocking brings in safety. And then the moment you were talking about the sticks and the rocks, your body changed, didn't it?
It did.
Your body
I was like,
sat up, it
yeah.
tensed, your hands tensed, sticks, rocks. And we're supposed to do this. We are supposed to be doing this. This is how our nervous system keeps us safe.
Keeps us
Now,
safe.
that's our fundamental human aspect, right? And then we have this just internal light, however you want to call it. You can call it soul, you can call it higher, wiser, wisdom, light energy. We have this light in us, and we are these beings that are vessels for something higher and greater, which creates, I don't want to, it is not a duality. People talk about the duality of humanness and spirituality. I think it's a natural tension. It's a spectrum. I'm kind of using my hands here to kind of indicate that, right? It is the balance between being human, but having a spiritual essence within us. So that spiritual essence is not afraid. It came down here for something. Whatever our individual curiosity from our individual light carries with it is for us to discern, right? That's part of our job, is to really stay attuned to that. But then we have this body, and that body, like an electrical system, if it's feeling overcharged or they're feeling that something's wrong, it can overcharge this wisdom light to keep us safe. And frankly, there's nothing wrong with that. This is why we are here, to have this human experience. It's the balancing of the two. It's the learning, the ebb and the flow, and knowing, my nervous system just did this. I'm feeling rather activated right now. Let me breathe. Let me see if I can get back into aspects of safety. Let me see if I have some ability to kind of jump back into where we were before when we were laughing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And that can just change moment to moment, can it?
Yeah. Yep. Life can change. Our thoughts can change. Our perceptions change. When we start thinking about things that annoy us, we might be perfectly calm, but our brain is sending signals to our vagus nerve, our nervous system, that suddenly we are not, right? The nervous system's listening. It's sending information up as the brain is sending information down, right? And suddenly, boom, you are tense and you're agitated and you don't even know why.
Wow.
Because our thoughts can do this. Our thoughts can send these signals. So that's part of the whole scope of balance in there, right? That we do very mindfully need to notice how we think. That's a crux of mindfulness and Vipassana and all of Buddhist philosophy.
Because that
being
triggers
aware.
and that sends that message, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's, our thoughts are just rapid fire, and they could do that in an instant.
And CJ, really, that's so exciting that we can realize that, know that, and take our thoughts in a certain direction, make that choice to make that difference for us.
And even discern, oh, look, I'm judging, right? Tara Brach talks a lot about that with her RAIN model. She says, when you're meditating and you're noticing you're judging, give yourself some space in between your thought and you. And just, you can even say to yourself, there's judgment here. There's anger here. So that immediately sends a signal that we're a little bit separate from our thoughts. And there's non-judgment about the judgment, about the thought at that point then. So it's, we have the system that we are managing, and this light within us wants to rock along, and it wants to see things and go here and do this, all the things. But our system is going, I don't know, last time we did this, it didn't work out so well. So maybe we'll hold back. Wow. This is the human conundrum right here. Why is it we want to explore these things? Why is it aspects of us want this higher, greater experience? But then we get short of breath when we even think about getting in that car, because we had, a car accident 10 years ago, and we don't want to go back to that same place. So within that, is it empowering? Isn't it empowering? Yeah.
It is.
And just like a muscle, we want to develop that flexibility in our nervous system, in our vagus nerve, right? We want our muscles strong, but we also need them adaptive, right? So that we perceive a threat, our heart rate our heart rate jumps, as a result, our muscles tighten, our blood pressure goes up because we think we might have to run. Oh no, we're okay. That thing that just happened was not a threat. To be able to have that adaptability to start breathing again and start leaning back into the safety branch, that ventral vagal safety branch of our nervous system, that's the adaptability within our system. And sometimes if we're carrying around a lot of trauma, we might not be able to adapt quite as quickly, right? The health of the nervous system may not be so flowing and integrated the way you were just kind of going into this softness and then this tightness and then coming back into softness.
That is amazing. And something I loved in your book that you mentioned was that words matter. They are vibrational frequency with intention. I love that. Share a bit about that, please.
Well, and that goes with what I call, which basically is the throat chakra. By the way, adding chakras into the layer here I answer your question, is what I have seen within the chakras is that they seem to align with very important plexes or endpoints of our nervous system, of our vagus nerve. Of course, we have these chakras are energy centers, and we have them throughout our whole body. But my focus through trauma processing was from the root all the way up to the crown chakras. I would see the energy, the information that was the clients were processing as they were processing maybe childhood experiences and feeling this through the root chakra. But I'm also aware that this is also aligned with aspects of the vagus nerve that align with survival within our system. So jumping to the throat and the words, when we get up into the heart chakra, then we get into the throat chakra and then the third eye and the crown, we get into that ventral vagal branch of safety. That's where we can breathe and slow our heart or the heart rate, increase the heartbeat between beats, the heart rate variability, slow our heart rate down, get our blood pressure down, again, leaning back into safety. With our throat chakra, I really see this aligning a lot with the energy in our ears as well, because we have bilateral branches of at that point, as our vagus nerve coming through the cranial nerve 10 down through the medulla oblongata and then down along both sides of the branches of our neck. We have some plexes in here that are on both sides of our neck, right? And then they come down and they work in through the cardiac plexes around our body. But when we are speaking, it doesn't matter if no one can hear us or we can't hear, there's an engagement that occurs during that frequency. And that's why on so many levels, to me, words matter as well, because tone through polyvagal theory matter. Tone in a mid-range, now Stephen Porges refers to this as prosody, in a mid-range, tone is a safe tone. I'm speaking to you in mid-range right now. But if I started really getting up here in my like a shrieking voice, your nervous system, the neuroception, by the way, it's another term that Stephen Porges coined to discern that our nervous system is catching on before the brain or anything else can make meaning of what's happening. Your neuroception is going to register a lack of safety. If I go down really in my voice and I start doing this, you just frowned. I just saw your neuroception.
Yeah.
Your brows just furrowed. So within that, tone matters, but words matter too. Because this is the chakra, the only chakra we have that registers sound, that registers a frequency beyond our bodies that people can hear. And with that, it's just, I just think it's vital because it goes to how we think, how we speak, right? And how we think about ourselves, let alone how we think about others. Constantly is the cycle of safety or lack thereof in our system.
Wow. Wow. And when it comes to the chakras, is there certain chakras we should be focusing on, or really kind of just our goal is to have them all in balance?
See, this is where I think we get, to me, this is to me where I think we get distracted as energy workers, because you and I are both energy workers too.
Yes.
And we get told, and I did actually Reiki before I was a therapist. So we're told focus on the chakras, see which ones are open, which, how things are flowing. But what I think I've come to see is that the chakras are simply the essence of that soul working its way through the nervous system. Because when we die, when that soul's gone, we have no more chakras. So to me, I I hear those aspects of ourself differently when I'm working somatically. So to me, the chakras are representative of the information stored in the vagus nerve. And by the way, the vagus nerve communicates to all the major organs in our body, and the organs are part of the interplay of information going on as well. So that to me, it's not like there's a problem with a chakra. I don't even like that thinking anymore. If I'll hear people when I do classes say, well, I can't tune into my root chakra. And I'll be like, that's perfectly fine. And we might be able to do some stretching. We're not focused on getting you to feel it. What we're focused on is getting you to trust your body more. And the safer you feel within your body, things are going to light up and fire up in some spots and chill down in others, right? The essence, though, is to know that we have this uh, triangle of heat sometimes within that solar plexus sacral root chakra area, because that's primarily our sympathetic and our dorsal branches complex. And those are, all right, I'm just going to go a little geeky. I'm trying not to get too sciencey. Those branches of our vagus nerve are they're non-myelinated. So in other words, they don't have a myelin coating. They have a different form of communication slower, and it's more vast. So those times that you have a stomach ache, but you have a backache, right? We learn to fear this because of the way that the information sometimes shows up when we are activated, when we're thinking or we're experiencing some tension, right? Because again, this is stored. When we get up into this ventral vagal branch, this is the way that we feel that safety and communication. We can slow everything else down through breath, utilizing the diaphragm, right? And so we can find some management within that. And then to me, it just from what I've been able to see, the chakras just sort of manage themselves. The chakras are representative of what's deeper inside of us. We can't, and this is a pet peeve of mine, it's becoming a pet peeve as a trauma therapist who works both sides of this aisle. We cannot clear trauma through the chakras. The chakras represent what's in our system through touch, right? Through gentle touch, through good intention, through Reiki work, we can help calm the body. Sometimes we can help prepare the body to get used to touch again if the person's system is really feels unsafe being touched, right? So there's a place for energy work, but the energy work does not inform the trauma work. The trauma work informs the energy work.
Oh, wow. It is so fascinating. Oh, this is so fascinating, CJ. I love it. I
Thank
love it.
you.
We have about 3 minutes left.
Okay.
What last message do you want to share with everybody today? This is just so fascinating and so exciting.
Thank you. I would always remind people that we are not a duality. We're not an either body or spirit, that we are the continuum while we are here. And so trust that even when it feels sometimes like your body betrays you, reach out for a good trauma therapist. Reach out for ways for you to discern what needs to be healed and how, and along the way, as we heal, as we grow. I thought about this today. I had a great energy session with someone who's just fantastic. I thought along the way, our healers, we reach out for healers that can go further with us as well. So trust your body, even if you haven't in the past, and know that that's the vessel, the journey.
Yeah, yeah. And it is a journey, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it is. And those pain centers, those pain points, those hard times, I was reminded today in my session that those hard times inform us. Those are the things that get us to these next levels of understanding, right? Because we can't hold on to empathy for others if we haven't even had these certain experiences within ourselves. So,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's a great point. Yes. And those traumas do move us to a different space, a different direction, don't they?
They can if we open up to the healing of it. We cannot white knuckle trauma, that we cannot outrun it. We cannot outtalk it. I say this to so many of my friends as well, until they finally get into a therapist that can do some neuro experiential stuff with them. But yeah, we can't outrun trauma. And we can look at it as an opportunity for healing, that there's something so much more wonderful on the other side of it.
Yeah. So what would you say a first step that someone could take? Someone listening, I want to open up.
So I would
What would you
offer,
say?
because everybody's on different pathways, I would offer uh, look at the intention, right? Under look, how about this? Look at the cycles we go through. You know, you going through the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Reflect on what that thing is. Reflect on what you're trying to work around. And you don't, nor should you do it on your own. That's when we reach out. We find the good therapist. We find ways to work our bodies and trust our bodies again. So maybe look for the patterns that are not working. And that can be tough. That can be the absolute hardest part of the journey, is really reflecting on those patterns that aren't working for us
Yeah.
anymore,
And
and being
trust.
okay with it, and trust. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge. That is so huge. Oh, CJ, please share with everyone your website or any information you want to share. I know you do so many things, exercises, meditations, you have blogs, your great
Oh,
books.
yes. I would say right now I'm building out my card deck, which I'm really excited about sending out, because I think that if we can break it down piece by piece, my website is cjlewelyn.com. Llewelyn is two L's up front and one in the middle. So it's LLEWELYN.com. And join me on Instagram. I jumped over from another platform a long time ago and had all sorts of wonderful followers. And I'm jumping over into Instagram and I'm building out there. So I'm CJ Llewelyn on Instagram. And yeah, I will be
Thank
building out more
you.
of my website as the year goes
Thank you
by.
so much. Everybody
Thank
out
you,
there,
Paula. I appreciate
love,
it.
hugs, and blessings. Oh, you're welcome, CJ. Love, hugs, and blessings.